Hey guys! Today I'm going to be talking about horoscopes. I'm sure most of you guys have read your horoscope for the day at least once in your life, and probably found the predictions to come true more or less throughout the day. Horoscopes are defined in the dictionary as a forecast of a person's future based on the relative positions of the stars and planets at the time of that person's birth. For example, I was born December 2nd, which makes me a Sagittarius, the archer, as are other people born between November 22nd and December 21st. Personally, I've always liked reading my horoscope. They always seem to be so strangely personalized and relatable, which is really what makes them so attractive to other people everywhere. In its 2004 Science and Engineering Indicators Report, the National Science Foundation found that 28% of Americans believe in astrology and 18% are not sure. 15% said they read their horoscope every day, while 30% said they did on occasion. Those are some big numbers for a science that isn't exactly held in the highest regard. So, I became interested in how the way people perceive things or events is affected by the expectations these people develop from reading their horoscopes every day. An expectation is defined as a belief that something will happen or be the case. Our perception of the world isn't only defined by our expectations, of course. It's also heavily influenced by so many things, like our past experiences, expectations, of course, motivations, beliefs, emotions, and culture. On the other hand, perception is defined as a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something. Everyone's perceptions of the occurrences around them is unique to themselves. So how can everyone born between November 22nd and December 21st be herded under the same prediction as me? In a study done in 1975, 3 groups of second graders listened to statements from their teachers before taking a math test. There were 3 types of statements: expectation, persuasion, and reinforcement. The students in the expectations group listened to statements such as, "You know your math really well," or "You work really hard at your math." Students in the persuasion group heard sentences like, "You should be good at math," or "You should be getting better math grades." For the reinforcement statements, teachers said things like, "I'm really happy about your progress," or "This is excellent work." What do you think the results were? Which group of students scored higher on the test? Turns out, the scores were highest in the expectation category. These statements were the most effective because they created personal assumptions within each student, and these assumptions conditioned the actual results. So, let's look at my horoscope for today. The pictures in your head may seem more real than what your eyes actually see today. You're so wrapped up in your own thoughts, there's a danger you could bump into a post or step off the curb without looking. When others speak to you, you may not hear them at all, or it could seem as if they're calling to you from across a wide canyon. Preoccupation is the natural result of an active imagination, but don't allow yourself to disengage completely from reality. Thanks, Washington Post writers. If you compare the wording of the expectation statements from the study and the wording of the horoscope, it's actually very similar. So we have a psychological desire to perform under these expectations of these horoscopes. I might bump into a post every day, but I'll only notice it today. I only perceived that I had bumped into a post today of all the times I'd done it, because I was expecting it. This brings me to my knowledge question. To what extent is perception based on expectations? I represented perception with the classic philosophical question, is the glass half empty or half full? I represented expectation with the classic student expecting good grades from their hard work. In response to my question, I say our expectations have a huge influence on our perception. When it comes to horoscopes, the predictions are so general that pretty much anyone can relate to them. The Forer effect, also called the Barnum effect, is the observation that individuals will give high accuracy ratings to descriptions of their personality that supposedly are tailored specifically for them, but are in fact vague and general enough to apply to a wide range of people. This phenomenon goes under the category of subjective validation, which is where two unrelated or random events are perceived to be related because an expectation demands a relationship. Here's another example. Say person A is a Cancer by birth, person B is a Scorpio, and person C is a Libra. Just by reading their own horoscopes, they feel like their sign is a perfect match for their personality. Then one day, they try reading each other's horoscopes and find that these other signs are matches as well. The expectations set forth in horoscopes are so vague that it is quite easy for us to perceive things in ways that follow these expectations. This becomes even clearer with horoscopes that include ridiculous things like a lucky color or a lucky number. Not to mention the seemingly infinite number of sources that give a different horoscope for the same sign. Expectations can cloud a person's perception. When we let our expectations guide the way we perceive things, people, and ourselves, we often end up overlooking reality. Looks like my horoscope was right.